I have recently reached a level of peace and understanding that has given me a sense of completion and a release from struggle, and I will share that process with you based on the instruction I received today during my daily morning meditation. Today is the 18th of June, and I was surprised to receive the information that I should share my daily insights that I have been journaling for the past 3 years here on YouTube. This came as a surprise to me because I had not thought about sharing these insights on YouTube previously. I didn't even think about thinking about it. My initial idea was to simply meditate every day, and that's it. I didn't even think about journaling it. However, after the first meditation, I had some insights, and so I thought it would be smart to write them down. Once I had written down the insight in the diary, I didn't revisit it or look at it. I simply forgot about it and continued each day writing down anything that had some value or significance to me during that particular meditation session. What transpired was an insight or two each meditation, and it has continued for the past 3 years. In fact, this is the first time I have read them back from the beginning where I started. We are doing this together right now, from the first insight, from the first meditation. Regarding the meditation specifically, I did not use any special meditation technique from any guru. I simply created a comfortable chair and sat cross-legged in that chair for every daily session. The meditation I adopted was to just sit as comfortable as possible and become aware of my body, focusing inside and becoming aware of my thoughts or my mind. I never used a timer, but my average meditations would be 1 hour at least, sometimes reaching 2 hours, and sometimes I would do 1 hour in the morning and 2 other sessions during the day or evening. Basically, the minimum was 1 hour per day, and if I was in the mood and had the opportunity, I would do more. I would often use earbuds with noise cancelling and gentle music like Tibetan gong or crystal healing bowls, etc. However, now I simply sit in the silence. I didn't have a goal in mind in terms of how long I would continue these meditations. I treated each day as a new day, a new meditation, and a new discovery, like a journey or an adventure, if you like. At first, the only thing I could manage was to be able to sit my body still without moving for the duration of about 1 hour. I did have some previous discipline in training in martial arts. This definitely helped me to be able to sit without moving. Looking back now, I can see that my mind was saturated with thought traffic. I wasn't aware at the time, primarily because I was so identified with it, so I couldn't see it. However, by and by, I began to feel a sense of calm, and although the thinking never stopped, eventually the density of the thoughts and the thought traffic began to thin out, so to speak, until I reached this point where I am now, where I identified where the thoughts were coming from and began to disidentify from the ego. This was a significant breakthrough for me and a welcomed relief because I was a person accustomed to thinking a lot. All of these insights that I'm about to share with you, I am sharing my deepest personal intimate discoveries from the source of my being as they arose in me during the meditation each day. Remember, my initial idea was to simply write them down so I didn't forget them. I did not know that I would be reading them out 3 years later. I have not changed or edited any of these insights since I have not even revisited them until now. Here I will outline my morning routine to give you an idea of the simplicity. I did not wake up at any specific time. I would wake up when I woke up, and the first thing that I would do is visit the bathroom for a few minutes and make a donation. Then I would go directly to the kitchen and brew up a nice pot of Italian or Indonesian coffee. Yes, coffee. I know that doesn't seem in line with meditation, and some people may say meditation and coffee do not complement one another. However, for me, I found it works beautifully, up until now anyway. The feeling of the coffee hit gives me an alertness so that I can focus. Whilst my body is still in a relatively relaxed state from sleeping, it helps me to focus and concentrate to reach a point of deeper relaxation. And once I reach that point on my own, the inner alertness is free from the coffee. After the meditation, I would journal the insights. Then, if I was in the mood for breakfast, I would, and then continue to attend to my day accordingly. That's it. No special technique, no temple, no guru. Just at home, a cup of coffee. It might be useful to clarify here that I only intake 1 cup of coffee per day. It's important to remember that these insights are an inner conversation between myself, my higher self, or subconscious mind. I'm not telling anybody how to do anything or what they should do. These are simple insights were given to me from meditation, and I listened to them and followed them and found that they worked. So here are the insights. When timing and readiness collide, it is a most nourishing and satisfying feeling. Be a mentor to your ego. It's never been guided. Perhaps it's not your diet that needs changing. It's your emotional diet. Always bring yourself back into present to receive your gift. Were you born a human doing or a human being? Remember, everything you physically focus upon has space around it. In the negative space around it lays the peace and stillness that holds the picture stable. You can change the tone of that non-stop internal voice to a more pleasurable tone you can enjoy listening to. The greatest form of approval comes from yourself. Do you have thoughts, or do your thoughts have you? On the physical plane, change is the only consistent thing. Stillness is reality. Creativity ignites with curiosity, which leads to excitement. Excitement opens your pathway to all your gifts. Intuition, your own personal teacher inside of you. Listen and follow it. If there's no you, there is no me. And if there is no me, there is no you. We are one. Do you have a mind, or does your mind have you? Blown out ego is the source of all your suffering. Dying without ever knowing how to be thyself is such a missed opportunity. There are two basic parts to us, the material solid form and the inner depth of consciousness. In the early stages of awakening, we can fluctuate between the two. The next stage is being, present in non-form whilst doing in material form. Simply said, being present in doingness or action. Be aware of how much we get drawn into unconsciousness is an invaluable skill. I'm not about better or worse than anyone else. I'm current. I am simply now. Energy is current. When your mind lets go of incessant thinking, the ability to manifest things will be easy with a single thought. Within this clarity, acceleration is exponentially accelerated. Surrender and work with the universe, and the universe can work with you. Presence is reality. Presence is the first priority. Every situation is new and fresh. If it doesn't feel new and fresh, an ego structure has you engaged. Feeling into your body and being present and conscious with whatever you feel is a doorway into presence. Everything we experience is here to serve us. Once we open to embrace this possibility, life takes on a smoothness. This smoothness assists as a lubricant in healing the distortions of our body, mind, spirit, and system. A balanced man has both feminine and masculine qualities. The feminine qualities are the ability to be receptive and allow the present to be what is. Love, compassion, stillness, for example. The masculine quality is to be aligned with his purpose, uncompromised, strength, power, centeredness, etc. A strong man can embrace both these qualities. That's called wisdom. When we provide a service to someone, it works on two different levels. One level is the service, and the other level is the attitude, behavior that you exude whilst providing the service. The second is the spiritual level. Most people are unconscious, unaware of this important part because this creates an opening and opportunity for understanding and growth. Be open to universal, not uniform. I am here. This is where my happiness is. There is nothing for me to chase. It's easier to criticize someone or try to improve them than to look at ourselves and be honest about where we are at with ourselves. In that place and moment of honesty, embrace the uncomfortable feeling of being in a place of true assessment of our status. Instead, apply that same intent we had toward the other to ourselves. Whenever you block a like or pleasure or something that feels good to you, that block from receiving sends a message to the universe that you don't want it. Thus then the universe listens to this request and stops sending you those things you like. Allowing is the key. Allowing without attachment is even better. Before we manifest ourselves into this physical world, we choose the abilities that we most enjoy and love working with as our tools of choice. Just like when playing a video game, you choose your weapons to survive in the game. However, due to our conditioning, our chosen gifts are usually clouded and hidden, and we can't see them or connect clearly to them. If you are alert to your inner qualities, life will reveal them to you. Life then becomes very exciting. The quality of your inner dialogue, your self-talk, is directly proportional to the creation of your quality of living and relationships. If you spend as much time as you do in the hustle of life on surrender, you would see life transform in front of you. When you want to see a change in another person, become aware of the feeling that you don't like about them. Then observe in yourself if you have a similar feeling. Then change your feeling or the belief to that feeling. Drama will always serve to keep you distracted from discovering your true, unconditioned self-love. If I were to see people without looking through my lenses or filters and beliefs, what would I see? How would they appear to me? Every person is me, living their own version of free will and exploring consciousness through their own body vehicle. Let go of the realm of wanting and move into havingness. Can you allow yourself to have havingness? Havingness is a beautiful feeling to experience. Strive to let go of all conditionings and programs, known or unknown, and in the vulnerability with being in your unconditioned self, you will be surprised by your own freshness. Men are inventors and geniuses by nature. All the greatest inventions were by men. Women can enjoy the comforts of inventions that create a space for women to nurture, which is their geniusness. One of our first priorities or purposes is not what we do, but to discover our own authenticity, our true selves. From this point of reference, establish a firm root in this place of clarity, of self-expression. This brings immense joy. If you are the one that is able to love, then you are the lucky one. In my experience, in relationships, most people want to be loved, but if you can love, it means you're already blessed in love. Because if you love, where is the source of that love coming from? The world has been abundantly bestowing gifts upon me I had not realized. I was stubbornly focused on what I wanted, distracted, thus not noticing that the universe was relentlessly giving me what I needed. An affirmation for this: I am rich with abundance. I can see it clearly now. I release the responsibility for others to take care of me and trust in my direct connection to my beloved cosmic mentors to teach and guide me. Irritation, a resistance from the conscious mind or ego to want to go in a certain direction that is contrary to the underpull of the subconscious direction. The contradiction in direction creates an internal struggle because the subconscious is way more powerful and relentless. This creates a frustration and or irritation to the individual who is experiencing this phenomena. If this is not recognized by the individual, there is a strong possibility to project or blame others for the irritability felt in an attempt to justify a feeling of being right. By identifying and reorganizing the feeling of the contradiction between the conscious and subconscious, posing pull and surrender to the subconscious direction, as it will win anyway, we will release the irritation, and a feeling of union with one's direction will feel smooth and powerful. This requires courage and trust to allow the subconscious to take the lead, because you may not know where it is going to lead you. Surrender and trust, and allow that trust. In the bigger picture, it will be of tremendous help. It doesn't matter how much we listen to other people's advice or how much information we have accumulated intellectually. Sometimes we are just not ready to understand what is being offered. Thus, then we need to go through certain experiences to gain a lesson and the self-knowledge we need. We then have the experience and choice to make the adjustments and move forward based on what we have learned and experienced. Let go of the realm of wanting and move into havingness. Can you allow yourself to have havingness? Strive to let go of all conditionings, known and unknown, and in the vulnerability of being your unconditional self, you will be surprised by your own freshness. Our minds can be like water. It can be so still that a perfect reflection of the sky can be mirrored upon its surface, or it can be like the crashing waves of the ocean that can erode the seashore cliffs. We are not our mind. We are the sky, the space that contains the whole ocean within it, the unaffected, undisturbed part of us that is neither swayed by the stillness or the turbulence. This is the essence that we yearn to return home to. Release guilt. Releasing guilt is tremendously helpful. It not only benefits you, it also benefits everyone you come into contact with. It allows you to rest in your spaciousness of guilt-free peace and frees others to be themselves around you, which allows you to receive their love. All people we encounter in our lives are here to help us, here to offer a gift. They all come with a hidden gift of love. Sometimes it's not what we want to see or feel, but it is exactly what we need. But alert and aware to the feeling a person brings up in you can help you. If you follow that feeling and track it back to the source, you can discover tremendous insights about yourself that can liberate you from your limiting subconscious programs and beliefs. Then you can let those feelings go and release the bondage of the program it was attached to. It is one thing to understand something intellectually, but a completely different experience to know it and literally feel the liberation. The I am consciousness can be focused anywhere in the body, mental realm, or emotional feeling for healing. Be more interested in understanding the nature of things. This can take you a long, long way. The mind always moves. That's its nature. The heart is calming. A balance between the two is healthy. If you want to be right, and at least be right with yourself until further notice. Fear and excitement are very close and can be similar in intensity. Sometimes we can get fear confused with excitement and miss out on opportunities. Be clear on your excitement. It will serve you well. Develop your awareness. During a crisis or overwhelming emotional experience, there can be a tendency in some people to flee into the mind ego for refuge and to escape or distance ourselves from the pain or the feeling. The ego mind loves this because it has an opportunity to receive attention and take over and manipulate you during this vulnerable state. Also, the ego has ability and tendency to lie if it looks like it's being found out. That's the nature of the ego. The ego doesn't want to lose the mistaken identification that you have made with it as being the true you. It will create clouds of confusion to keep you distracted and keep you invested in the mind and ego. And whilst you go on trying to figure out the confusion using the mind, it actually takes you deeper into the mind clouds and thus deeper into the confusion. Hence the feeling of frustration, anguish, and anxiety. Once you pass through the clouds of confusion onto the other side into clarity and realize you are using the mind as the instrument to try and find out the solution, a feeling of instant relief and clarity can be felt. The culprit of the mind is then found out and can be laughed at. Appreciation doesn't mean a person has to do something for you to show the appreciation. The fact that you have generated a feeling of appreciation in them and they have the capacity to feel the appreciation toward you in the first place itself is the gift. The beauty is it's a gift to both of you and them simultaneously. I don't know the understanding of the word love. I don't know the understanding of the word hate, but I do understand the clarity of what it feels like to be honest with myself. I appreciate, claim, and own this body in completeness and fullness for now. Thank you for this vehicle to explore and befriend. Anxiety is your friend. Thank it for pushing you toward presence. Presence is the opposite side of the stick of anxiety. Knowing anxiety will deepen the appreciation of presence when you arrive in it. In turn, presence will deepen your appreciation of anxiety. Really, anxiety is simply a deep yearning to be in presence. Change the point of vibration on the inside. Let the vibration or frequency radiate outwardly, and the circumstances, situations, and events manifested will have to match that frequency from within. Stuckness is simply vibrating the same frequency inside unconsciously and not consciously able to recognize that sometimes referred to as a blind spot. Endeavor to become coy, COY. It's an acronym, consciously operating yourself. It's not necessary to struggle or concentrate to focus. Struggling to concentrate or focus is caused by streams of excessive thinking. When you're able to reduce the excessive thinking streams, focus and concentration will become the default innate quality. From this point of clarity, you can choose and use thinking when you want to, rather than thinking using you. Feeling of struggling to think will be replaced by an ability to place your attention on something in a calm and focused manner, a similar feeling to reflecting. It's not necessary to seek the divine because it already resides within us. Essentially, divinity is our essence. It's who we are. We simply need to recognize the distractions within us that we created ourselves that are clouding our inner view of our essence. The conditionings and decisions that we have previously made, consciously or unconsciously, create a veil. The work to be done is not reaching for the divine, it's identifying the blocks and releasing them. If it inspires me, it's motivational. If it doesn't, it's appreciation. We all learn from our choices. A choice offers us a chance to choose a preferred experience or a non preferred experience. From the consequence of the experience we had, we learn if our choice was a preferred experience or a non preferred experience. We usually do not receive that clarity until we have made that decision and watched it play out in our life. We receive the lesson after we experience it. Then we can make a new choice moving forward based on that experience. Don't be hard on yourself for making dumb choices. We all are a work in progress. Enjoy the opening and learning. It's fun when you get the knack of it. I used to use pleasure to escape my pain. Now I use presence. Now everything I feel feels better. Even the difficult or challenging things are now blessed with a grace when I'm in presence. Thank you for teaching me this. Try to release and let go of stiff and brittle thinking by trusting and allowing inspiration of divine guidance to guide your moves and actions. This will create mental space and clarity and a relaxed, free and clear feeling in the physical body. Stiffness will leave the body, especially in the neck and shoulders region, first. Let go of thinking that you know and rigidly holding on to that. Beware that you may have created a subconscious habit of this. Replace your rigid mental habits with allowing divine guidance in. Be willing to learn your own personal language or communication style with your personal divine connection. This might be a brand new language. It is your first language and still resides deep within you. Rediscover it and play with it. Let it teach you to be new again. Manifester. The idea comes, then trust the universe to fill in the gaps and make all the arrangements. Once the trust is established, it is a gracious and beautiful process to sit back, relax, and watch the universe make all the adjustments and synchronicities and alignments to manifest it right in front of your very own eyes. It's good to have intentions or direction. Sometimes things don't go to plan. Always remember that the divine sometimes has a better plan for us, even if it doesn't look like it does at the time. When we make a conscious change in our mental aptitude or attitude or belief systems, that change will automatically bless others as well. Allow our reactions to others to be an insight and a clue into the mental patterns or disposition that we hold within ourselves that we cannot see. There are two types of confidence: ego confidence and divine confidence. Ego confidence can be poisoned with arrogance. It is a false confidence. When one is operating from divine confidence, there is a beauty that radiates in this confidence. It is void of arrogance. Apparently, I am here on Earth attending a master class, learning how to be a human being from a spiritual point of view. Furthermore, this class choice is held in high regard by other evolved beings because it's not easy, hence why it's referred to as a master class. In fact, all human beings on Earth are here attending the master class. The first lesson of the master class is remembering that we signed up for the master class. Also remembering our true source of becoming conscious of that memory veil. The memory of the master class and the awakening into conscious of the forgetting the veil seems to be synonymous. So what is the master class? My thoughts work for me. My decisions work for me. Literally, all these work for me. I make decisions that are self-respectful and self-caring, and my decisions work for me. I am a much larger being than my thoughts. I am much larger than my thoughts and decisions. Let them work together as a team in cooperation for me. What would be possible for me if I felt safe in everything I did and wherever I am? How would I feel if I felt safe everywhere at all times? in every aspect, in every interaction. True love can always remain. It is new choices that we learn through the love that change. In this lays a profound beauty, freedom, and freshness. Make a decision and commitment to focus on things that you enjoy. Be alert to the mind's mental processes, and whenever you catch yourself focusing on something that doesn't feel good, smile and redirect your mind to something you like. Keep on doing this. The mind wants to think. So at best, give it something you like to focus upon. This is using your energy wisely and effectively for now. You will begin to notice the habits of the mind and the compulsions that follow. You will start to recognize that you have been manifesting everything in your life that you have the ability to take charge and direct your life with. By and by, the negative habits will weaken and disappear as you identify them, and the new positive enables you to plant new seeds that will come to harvest. Take charge and own your power. This is manifestation in its simplest form. We tend to look for our happiness outside ourselves, in outside affairs, things, and status, etc. However, if you really examine it and look a bit deeper, you will discover that it's never the things outside that you want. It's the feeling that those things give us that we seek, which means that we really already have the feeling within. Otherwise, we couldn't feel that feeling, the one we're chasing outside. So why not go directly to the feeling within? And ironically, those things will come into our experience, but without being a slave to them, without chasing them. We often seek safety in life. Generally, this is an unconscious compulsion or urge. Most of what we do and strive to achieve is to some degree to feel more safe. However, the feeling of safety comes from within. In fact, safety is our first base. Once we achieve and establish a feeling of safety in the first base within, everything else becomes much easier and more enjoyable. It's not necessary to learn relaxation techniques and positive thinking strategies. Generally, this is a sugar-coating process and method, and we are innately good, beautiful, and relaxed in nature anyway. All we need to do is move the rubbish that we've built up in our psyches, our minds, that cover our natural relaxation and positivity. As we identify and release all of this rubbish, and we will then discover that our relaxation and positivity was within us all the time. Let all that you have learned from reading other people, culture, education go. Let it all go. Take your learning from your own experience. Discard everything else. This takes great courage. Intuition plays a fundamental role in healing and guidance of direction. We tend to see intuition as something that comes as a hunch or a nudge toward clarity of information ahead of time, and if we are clear and aware enough, we can follow that intuition and enjoy the rewards. This is one form of intuition. It is the beginning or elementary stages. There is another stage of intuition, which I call the natural stage, whereby a person finds themselves in their intuition. For example, being in the right place at the right time, but not realizing or understanding why, or perhaps just blowing it off as feeling lucky. This is an unconscious state. Then there is the third stage, which I call ultimate level, where one is consciously in their intuition and know it to be so. They are present with it and being guided by it simultaneously, surrendering to its intuitive guiding process and the grace. This is experienced as divine grace, timing, and beauty. Guilt comes from the ego. It's a judgment. Divinity does not judge. Guilt is a rigid shell that can be dropped. It is brittle. Once you can identify this and identify the shell, it will drop, and the freedom felt is such a relief. Meditation, one of the most powerful and yet underestimated art forms available to every human in life, and yet misunderstood. It doesn't cost even a single dollar to participate, and yet offers infinite riches and values that money could never compare with or match. If you could put price on the value of your time, what would that be? I know your value, but I don't know the perception of what you perceive as your value. Divine love plus imagination equals magic. Imagination is a gift, a bridge, and an honor to have and to use. Imagination is a direct source of communication and connection with the divine love and guidance. I accept my imagination playfully, curiously, sweetly, and love it and nurture it. I am more and more synced into my experience of divine love, guidance, and magic every day. Mastery has no power by itself. Mastery is allowing the power to flow through. Mastery is a dance between the universe and you. In fact, a mastering is more a surrendering. It's a state of ease, trust, simplicity, and magic, surrendering and allowing, inviting the whole universe into one's heart. By recognizing the qualitative difference in energies and choosing accordingly as a practice will enhance your experience on your spiritual journey. Choosing trust over control, alignment over indifference, acceptance over resistance. There is no such thing as hate. There is only an absence of love. Love is all there is. There is only love or absence of love, and you can choose which way you would like to go to explore. Thank you, nature, for your unconditional love and consistency. Thank you for being stubbornly consistent so that we can be nourished by your unconditional love. Thank you for your offerings and the opportunity to teach us the love of your love. Where do our thoughts come from? We have programs that run in the background, usually beyond our conscious awareness. If we access these programs, we can drop them. They are similar to the apps in the background on our phone that we are unaware of. There are two types of programs generally: instinctual programs for survival of the human body, and programs that we have installed inadvertently or others have programmed in for us. The second programs are the ones that do the most of the disturbing of the mind. Programs can be useful, however, we must go beyond the programs into the spaciousness of love to experience real peace. This can be done by exploring inwardly with an intention to release the programs and to becoming more conscious. The more conscious we are, the more clarity we have. The more clarity we have, the more we can see the programs and decide to thank them and release them and let them go. The walls that we create and build up around us and ourselves to protect can distort incoming information as well. Sometimes this incoming information is important for us to know so that we can act upon it in a clear and intentional manner. If you have ever had the experience where you realize something hours or days after the fact, more than likely you've experienced the information slow but finally reaching you. It had to pass through your walls of protection, your filters, before it could reach your awareness. It's a slow process. One of the solutions is that you drop the walls. It takes a lot of energy to hold up those walls. This energy can be used in the health of the body, dispersed through to assist the body with extra surpluses of energy. It takes courage, but allowing yourself to be vulnerable and knowing that you are safe and guided by the divine, trusting in your divine guidance will be of great assistance. When all the chakras begin to open and flower, one is able to feel the support of the earth, the universe, people, and nature, and abundant flows of energy start flowing toward you. I do not have energy, I am energy. In fact, I am infinite energy. Pride may make us feel separate and special. However, there is a significantly poor trade-off involved here. Pride blocks one from feeling connected. The connection to and feel others. It is unhealthy if we don't feel that connection. It is healthy, and we are usually happier when we feel connected with others. the difference between resistance and saying no. Sometimes we get resistance and saying no a little unclear. Thus, then we can tend to lean towards an impotency towards our no's and a clouded view of the feeling and meaning of resistance. The ability to express a clear no without any resistance whatsoever is a great energy. Sometimes we may confuse resistance with saying no and feel an unconscious dissatisfaction with that expression without really knowing why. So here I would like to share a clarity of distinction between having resistance and saying no to assist you in making clearer and conscious choices. And yes, resistance has its place and uses as well. Understanding is an incredibly beautiful, transformative, and loving thing when applied to ourselves. Simply understanding will unravel and melt away the tangles and mental confusions. It's incredibly gentle and loving energy. The first step is to be willing to understand, then step back and allow understanding to reveal itself to you. It is not a doing, on the contrary, it's a surrendering, or a surrendering of the ego. It takes great courage to surrender. Surrender has been perceived by the West as weak or giving up, and this perception is so far from the truth of the real meaning. On the contrary, it's one of the most powerful and transformative things you can experience for yourself. Keep on giving love to the self, raising self vibration higher to reach the divine vibrational love. That's it. That's the divine love pouring down through into the crown chakra, the fontanelle, the space in the top of the head. Let it raise internal vibrations until it matches the pure divine vibration. And there we have union. The two P's, processing and production. Processing is an inward energy. Production is an outward energy. In general, we are trained to be productive, more outward energy. And this has created a stress and imbalance in our lifestyles, our health and well-being. Give more awareness and attention to the processing part. When one's processing, it's smooth and fast. Production will also be another easier experience.